All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is December 19th, 2016. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Be a Line King and Beat the Market Makers. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we'll go ahead and get started. Tom, I won't give that one. That is funny, but I won't say that one to the group, I guess. It's not lion, it's line, L-I-N-E, LineKing. That was funny, though. Okay. Please do, everyone says. No, not on recording. All right, let's go ahead and go over. I'm going to show a chart here real quick, and you should be able to see it. Now, real quick before we get started here, there's quite a few of you here in the room tonight that trade every single day. How many of you draw on your charts every single day now that you've been with us a while? Does everybody draw on their charts? Good, absolutely. Absolutely a must. Everybody's saying, okay, I don't see any don'ts at all. They're just flying through it. I do, I do, I do. That's what I said 44 and a half years ago. Got me in a spot for a long time. I said, I do. I do too. I draw on my charts also. I'm in kind of a funny mood tonight. I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm ecstatic that this other thing is finally over. And I think everybody knows what we're talking about, but we won't talk about politics in this room. Okay? But anyway, if you're drawing on your charts, you're actually making a way for yourself to make money every single day. And it's ultra important that you do. These swings are important that are made on your chart. And you know, a lot of people, you know, they put fibs on their charts. They put all the different things. But did you realize that when they do these swings, that they are actually letting you see those areas that they're going to you know, roll over, for instance, or bump their heads and head back up the other direction, that type of thing. And if you look at them afterwards, you'll find that a lot of these indicators and things like that that are kind of lagging will pretty much show you some of this stuff after the fact, but you're going to be able to see it in real time just like we do in that trading room every single day. Okay? And first off, you've got to decide, you know, what kind of a trend you're in. You know, and when you get up in the morning, whatever time you get up, I don't get up at 6 a.m. This is about where this is, looks like right now. I just kind of popped the market replay on and, you know, started it at about close to the time I get up. I'm not quite up yet. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to just walk into your trading room and make a decision that, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and just, you know, buy because this looks like a low or whatever. You got to stay with the overall trend, okay? And anybody that looks at this chart, you know, just go back a few hours. You don't have to go back a long, long ways, but if you draw your lightning 3, you can pretty much see that's a downtrend, right? High, low, lower, high, and took out the swing, so it's a lower low. So looking at this chart right now as I speak, what would it take to change it to an uptrend? Anybody? Without seeing any prices, I'm just saying by looking at this particular chart, what would it take to change it to an uptrend? And so you've got to draw on your charts. You know, for instance, I would draw a line like right here. Okay, I'm going to change that to a little lighter since we're on a black background. Okay, and I drew the line right where it would change directions, didn't I? Okay, so as long as this is doing, you know, stepping up and then rolling over, isn't that what we would be looking at for a short? Precisely, right? Because if this was to say I'm going to draw on it, and this is not the real prices, but let's say it did this, and it did this, and it did this again. All you would be changing would be your micro trend, right? But you might have resistance, for instance, right there. So you're not going to want to go long here, right? Because you're still in a downtrend, okay? The only way this would change to an uptrend on this particular chart anyway is taking out 35, and that was exactly right. Now, does it mean that you can't take these when, you know, this changes and you can clearly draw a trend line or something? I showed that this morning in the trading room, but you don't have to take those. You know, you can stay trend specific and you'll make a lot more money. Unless you get really, really good at it, and then you can make money the other way, of course. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to put the actual prices on here. Now, is this an uptrend yet? Anybody? Anybody? And the answer is no, is it? And let me ask you a quick question. If you got up and you walked into your trading room and you saw your price was like right here, now it may even be here because see, this doesn't draw until, you know, you get a little swing taken out. So we don't know where the prices are at just yet. But looking at this chart though, would you just simply hit, you know, Object Trader and, you know, click a short sell right there? And the answer would be no, right? That's why it's very imperative to draw on your charts, okay? Now, what I normally do is I look back a couple, okay? Here's a swing right here. You can clearly see they took it out already, see there? Here's a swing right here, and a swing right here. And what I normally do on something like that, that's really close, so let's just draw it like that. And then let's draw this right here. Now, that's pretty much, you know, where your resistance is on this chart, right? Everybody? Would you say that? Okay, so by drawing on that chart, yeah, you got to wait for that pullback. Absolutely. You know, now if you were to sell this, like for instance, if you could box this in down here, and you knew that if it broke here, it might even go down to say some support way down in here, you can take chances like that, even if it's already run. But your best bet is not to do this when it's that low. You know, because if you were to box this in, let's see if we can change this where you can see it better. Still, let's see, we'll make that a little bit, yeah, more like that. All right, if you were to box it in like this, for instance, okay, would that be a smart move when you're already this low? And again, the answer to that one is also no. Now, one thing about Viper, I like to teach the most simplistic way to make a living trading, because there's so many out there that get so confusing, and you have to know every indicator that's out there. You've got to, you know, anticipate, you know, where this indicator crosses this one and this and that. It's just not the way to trade. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and purposely put the original template back on here, and let's see if this would have worked out. For instance, if you would have boxed it in to begin with. Let's just go ahead and put the template on. Bear with it a second, it's loading. Should load fairly quick. There we go. Okay, so this is where our little box is. See, this is what the prices are doing right now. Okay. Now notice on here, everyone, we drew this line on this chart before we ever saw the real prices, right? Because this is that same chart. These are those same lines I just drew. Now notice that your resistance is at 10 right there. See, it's not hit it yet. It has come really close to this 18, 19 area, but not quite. But it hit a predictor, so that's good enough, and it rolled over, right? But now we're looking for another retrace right up in here. And that's what we would be looking for a short, okay? Now let's go ahead and put Object Trader on here, and see if we diagnose this chart right. I didn't personally trade at 6 o'clock in the morning, but just like any trade, you should be able to see it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change these back to darker so that we can keep up with the lines being nice and colored the way we want them to be. Well, let's just go ahead and we'll just get rid of it, and then I'll put it back because everybody knows where it was, right? So we're going to put a line right there. That was at 10. And then our other line was at 18, wasn't it? Like that. All right, so we're going to get ready to trade this. And we've got Object Trader, and I'll go ahead and start this. And what I want everybody to do based on those lines is you tell me when to fire that trade. And I'll go ahead and not even do it with regions and all that kind of stuff for right now. We'll just simply, fire the trade when we see it. Okay, it kind of double bottomed so far, didn't it? Now, if you see resistance is this close, would you take a long out of that box? And the answer would be no. Now, there's times where if this power meter goes green and you see that resistance is way up, like 20 ticks, then yes, you could take it. Let's see, what does that mean when it double bottoms, Mindy? Well, it's actually, right at this moment anyway, it's bottoming out right down here. See, it's not taking out the low. It's just, kind of building a shelf there. Okay. But one thing I want to stress tonight too is rather than just shorting this thing, see, just a minute ago, this candle was right here, wasn't it? Or maybe even right here on this one, I think. And if you would have shorted it, where's it actually going as we speak? More than likely anyway, it could roll over. But isn't it more than likely coming up here to retrace? And that's what we're looking for. Let's see, so if resistance was higher, does the double bottom mean it's safer to take a long? Yes. For instance, if you could box it in, but keep in mind a phantom, you're going to want to do more on this type of trade. See where it comes down lower like that. This is pretty much like a little double bottom here, but you never really got the long because it didn't box in correctly. Probably didn't change the meter. This phantom right here, double topped right here, I guess you could have probably shorted it under midband. But let's try to take this trade and see what we can get, if we can get something. I'm going to turn it on to about 4. And I'm going to just sit here and everybody tell me where you want to fire that trade. Don't look at your charts. That's not fair. Okay? Because when you're trading with your real money, you're not going to be able to look at charts because it hadn't happened yet, right? Okay, we expect usually like an ABC, don't we? Most of the time you're going to get this little zigzagging effect like that, right? That's what we want. See, right now we've got 4 bars straight up, or 3 bars straight up. There's a 4th bar trying to close straight up, but not yet. Now, if I thought it was going to go here and I'm a gutsy trader, could I possibly do that? You could, okay? But keep in mind that if you do this type of trading against the trend, that there's a lot of times it's going to just barely come out of the box and then, whip you in the face. And then if you went long like above here with a close of a bar, you're filled right in here, that's not far enough up here. Okay? If you're going to do that type of trade, you just want to click it now on 7 ticks while the bar is actually forming. Okay? And then be ready to get out of the trade if it happens to go back inside the box. I'm not going to teach that tonight. Hey, OJ, no problem being late. We haven't gone over that much just yet. We're actually looking for a trade right now. Now, we're not boxing this in to take it long, okay? All I did on the boxing in was we had a black chart with no prices on it, and we basically boxed in the little swings just to show people that you don't want to just jump into these trades willy-nilly, because you could probably short it here, and if this thing goes up to here, that's going to be more than 12 ticks. Okay, anybody? When do we want to take this trade? Well, our predictor is saying right up in this area here possibly. Let me get that line down there like that even. And then you got a predictor right here that's actually formed, and it's looking at it. And it has not checked, by the way. We drew our lines on our chart on purpose, and we're looking for a retracement. It's already been to 14, hadn't been to 18, but see this is a little swing here too, down here at about 14. So this 10 has not been checked just yet. On all this checking so far, it has not been checked. And our predictor's telling you that. Okay? So drawing on your charts can be very, very good. Now, one thing I want to go over tonight too is there's an aggressive entry on this trade that's coming up, and you can pretty much see where it is if you even draw on your charts like a trend line. That one's going to be actually right up there, so that's probably going to break that trend line. But you could still, if this happens to hit this trend line and rolls over and power meter goes red, we could take it. It'd be a little riskier trade. I'd like to have it up here instead. Okay, because it hasn't checked the predictor. I'm going to kick it up to about 3, see if we can get a trade. I shorted a touch of 53.10. That's me too, Walter. Absolutely. And one way you can look at that also, let me get rid of this trend line right here, just real quick. You've got a high up here, you've got a low here, you've got a high here, and you've got barely a lower low here. So our medium trend is right here now, right? It's no longer way up here at 35. Everybody sees that, right? If you draw your lightning, you will see it. Should draw. Why is it not drawn? There we go. All right, high, low, lower high, lower low, even though it hasn't printed yet, that's still your medium swing. Okay, so we know if we fire a trade at 10, we can pretty much protect it just above the swing, because they'll usually wick this and roll over even if they're going to go this high. Because as long as they're heading down, what's the rule on a downtrend? Is lower highs and lower lows, right? So with this being a high, this being a low back here, this being a low over here that took it out, we expect a lower high. Okay, now an aggressive way would be like this. Let me go ahead and put our targets back in. All right, an aggressive way would be the second it gets up near that line, you just simply hit an order. Okay, see like that? Now the reason I hit that is because it came within 1 tick of that, and I literally got it within 1 tick because I actually just hit the sell button quickly. Now an aggressive trade like that can also get you in a little bit of trouble too. All right, now what, if you do this particular way, what I recommend doing then is wait for the little meter, see if we can get a little meter break. Right now the meter would be right under here as we speak, but it could go down a little bit, back up a little bit, and down a little bit, and get you in even here. See what I mean? It's just got to make a little zigzag. Watch the meter. And like I say, that was aggressive. And like I say, I'd put my stop just above there with exit on close for right now. Now, if this kind of goes back up and makes us a little lightning, otherwise it's going to have to break this line right here, and it may have to do that. That's fine if it does. But I just watch my little meter over there to the left. To me, it's already rolled over, but to be truly rolled over, it's got to take out this lightning swing. See the little thrust, retrace, thrust? This is still a little bit of an uptrend on power meter, right? So I took an aggressive trade with 1 contract. Now if it breaks this line or makes a little zigzag and tries to go up here and rolls again, we may get in a little bit earlier than this, but if not, it's going to be right below this line. Nothing yet. Now usually if it's trying to do that, I'll usually even add one. Now let's go ahead and do our 3. See how it just broke? Power meter right there. Now, you have to keep your stop though until it gives you a lightning swing. You have to pretty much keep your stop at the one that we've got it at right now until we get a lightning swing that it comes back a little bit and rolls over. Okay? It may not do it here. It may do it even here. We don't know yet. Let me show you how to read it though. Watch that and we'll watch it in real time. You could definitely protect one contract right there. See, predictor's even saying right down here, well, we already got one, so we're fine. Okay? Everybody see that? But we still don't have lightning, do we? Now, I'd probably lower it at least to here. See what I mean? You're still literally 11 ticks even right there from where you got in. And that's $110 per contract. But we don't have lightning yet. Not to the downside. See how those are straight down? No zigzag. This might be coming our little zigzag. We'll find out. Should hit its head right there at my line that I've got drawn or lower. You do have a swing right across here at 96. They haven't checked yet. And you got another swing if you draw on your charts right across this area right here. Just go ahead and stay with it for a minute and see what we get. Now, always be careful of a double bottom or something. We do have a target right down here, which they haven't quite gotten to just yet. Just barely missing it. But you've also got to watch for these little double bottoms too, because you don't want that. See if we get a little lightning. You know, the beauty of lightning is it can be minor. All it has to be is just these bars forming back to the upside when they're going down. See, this is straight down. Even this bar is trying to close down, but I haven't done it yet. Everybody watching the bars? Still kind of hitting the bottom so far. Now you can, if you see this kind of action like this, you can protect yourself because we've got 3 still on, okay? For instance, I could turn my long bar close on if this bar closes up and I don't want another one to close up because I'd be right back at cost with 3 full contracts. I could actually turn this on and maybe dump one. And then if it closes down, we'll turn that off. See, because that would just do long 1 off a short 3, which would give us 2 contracts, but we wouldn't be giving it all back. This is like our little lightning right here. See it? If you were to draw this, let me draw it in real time. I'm going to draw it from right. Let's draw it from right here. Okay, let's see if it makes us a little swing. That may not be enough of a movement, but that's still a lightning swing to me if it breaks it. We'll see if it actually tags it. Still making a little lightning. See if we can take out that low. And one thing about it when you're trading, and we're doing this in real time, this is actually 3 times normal speed. So if you were doing this in real time, it's about 3 times slower than this. And that's one thing you got to put up with when you're trading. Now, let me ask a question for all you Viper veterans out there. Where would be your next trade on this chart if it breaks down? Let's say you were walking into the room and you just said, you know what? I walked in and this thing's already dropped 40 ticks. Does anybody see it already? It hadn't broken it very much yet, but it is starting to break it if you draw your line. See where our little box is drawn right here? That's your swing right there at 92. Look at that lightning swing. Now, could you bring your stop down? Absolutely. See there? Now it says we've got 4, but we don't. We'll turn off exit on close, and it'll show we just got the 2. Forgot to turn that off. We should have left our 1 on because, see, we broke. Be sure and turn that off if it doesn't. You see what I'm getting at? In other words, we didn't go up 2 bars, so we didn't really want to get rid of 1. Okay, but that's okay. We're still okay. All right. Now, let's just say that you're the type that likes to ride a trade down. We've got 2 contracts left on, okay? So if we break lightning, we'll go ahead and take 1 off, okay? And if we break lightning and turn green, we'll take them all off. Now let me ask a quick question too. Let's see, I tried to grab the stop and move it for you. You tried to grab it on my chart? Yeah, that's one thing about it. You want to make sure that you get your stop, trust it at first. If you get in, for instance, we diagnosed this chart and we knew 5310 was resistance. We drew our lines on our chart. That's extremely important to draw lines on your chart. I just can't overstress how important it is to draw lines on your chart. Okay, let's draw some other lines on our chart. I see some major support, high, low, higher highs up here. So we're going to draw some lines on here. 71, right? Now, I would expect this, if this drops like a stone like this. Now, by the way, you do have another lightning swing right here. See it? Just micro, but it is a lightning swing. That's a tight stop. That may get taken out, but when it breaks this support right here where my cursor's at by a good 1.5 bars like that, I usually trust those. Because I'll bet you that you will get a bounce off that swing. And by the way, if you wanted to, I don't know if we can do it quick enough. We'll find out. Why did I do that right there? Because I'm at support that should actually bounce. That's pretty good support. See it? Thrust, retrace, big thrust. So this is like a 12 range swing. So more than likely that is going to bounce there. Now, what if it doesn't? Would I really want to put 12 with 4? That's $480? Probably not. So I'd probably mitigate my loss a little bit and maybe go like 6 on this one. Because if this doesn't bounce, I'm still in this one over here. But if it does bounce, then more than likely I'm going to make at least a little bit of a retracement. Okay. Now that's a little gutsier trading, but if you actually look at your charts and you see these larger swings, you'd be surprised how often that will work. Now, I'm not saying this one will, but, and by the way to do it is not the way I did it with just bar close or just hitting market. The best way to do it is bar close, something like that. And you wouldn't do 8, obviously. Let's just do 2 more. See if we get a bounce there. It is bouncing so far. And I'm risking what? 6 times 6, $360. And my trade, if I get 74 to 81, is only 7 ticks. So I'm risking 6 to get 7. That's not what you call a really good trade. You could also try to see if you could get up a little bit closer to like the swing if you wanted to. Okay. And you could use sniper also. Absolutely. Oh, that is sniper. You're right. Thank you. There we go. Okay, let's put this to the side for just a minute and we'll see if it works. And I'll speed this up a little bit too, see if we can get some movement. Mercy. Slow, slow, slow. Where's my lightning swing on this chart right now? Well, we're doing a little bit okay. We're in the profit now on this one. See if we can get those 10 ticks. 10 ticks would be $600. 6 ticks down would be $360. So I'd risk that. All right, let's look at our little swings. This didn't make a swing right here. Your swing is actually all the way up here. I don't think it'll go that high. 92 is your resistance. So I'd probably put my stop just real close to 92. That's about 10 ticks with our 2 contracts that we have left. Now you could go ahead and get out of this trade because it is bouncing off of 71, but it's still a big downtrend, okay? And you want to be careful getting out of good trades because as long as lightning holds, just stick with it. Is this trade going to work? We'll find out. I'd probably go really close to break even now. I'm only risking 2 ticks times 6 contracts. I just wanted to show you that one because that just looked like that was going to bounce there. You know, that's one thing about drawing on your charts. We got decent little P&L on that little move. Now, keep in mind one thing too. When this bounced off 71, it could go easily all the way up here to this resistance or even here to this one, and we would be giving back a couple of $100 or more on this trade. Okay? Now, if this does happen to take me out, I will jump back in it. Let's see if we just keep on trucking down or what we do. We're going to find out here in just a minute. Now, what if you weren't in this particular trade right here? Does anybody see, let's say that you got up at 7:30 in the morning, and let's say that you didn't have, let's just do one contract only. All right, let's see if anybody can figure out where would be a safe area if this comes up here, for instance. Here's our little predictor. Here's our line in the sand, so to speak. Here's a little trend line. We're either going to get stopped out or we're going to get in a couple of more contracts. See if we get a green power meter at all. We should if that closes. Didn't close yet. So we're exit on close, so we're pretty sure that this resistance will hold. See that breaking a little bit? Now that's a risk, that's a little gutsier trade. Your less risky trade would be for it to actually totally take out this line, okay? For instance, when it takes out that line like right there, that would be a decent little entry, okay? Now, always be careful if you're doing like 7 because that's a lot of money if they go against you, okay? We can go ahead and take 2 out if we get a bar close to the upside, just in case. Everybody see what I was talking about there? An aggressive entry and more of a trend line type entry, drawing lines on your chart. It looks like it's going to be a decent little trade again, doesn't it? Now, where's our support that we drew? over here, that's a long entry, touch +2. If it gets down to our little swing here, that's a big swing, by the way. High, low, A, B, big old move up, right? So that's a pretty good area that they should bounce also. 71 they bounced, we got 10 ticks. Could we get some more if we bounce off of here? And the answer to that is obviously yes, right? So sniper is set. And by the way, if it doesn't go ahead and work, I'll just buy it. I'll buy 2 if it comes down and doesn't fire yet. That was close. That's within 3 ticks. Now our stop on this chart would be obviously right here. Where did our chart go? Right here. Try some of this in sim even once in a while just to see if you don't get these beautiful bounces. Okay, there's your entry right there. Now, if they were to take this out, I probably wouldn't give them over about 5 ticks, so I'm going to put my stop just right under here with exit on close. That way I'm not taking a chance with, well, we've only got 2 contracts, so we're pretty good. And I'll go ahead and turn on my sniper one more time, just in case. I'll bring that down just a little bit, and then we're going to bring this back up to 58 and hit enter. That's where our little dot will be. And I'll bet that bounces pretty good. Now, where did we say another trade is on this chart? Anybody? Where have we not checked yet? Drawing on our chart. Looking to the left, trade to the right. We have not checked here. Now, that would take out what I call my medium swing, but that's still a good trade if we get there. Okay? If this continues getting this down, this is going to be like a phantom trade, very possibly. Looks like we're going to get our target. And by the way, if we lose our power meter, we're going to kill this one. If it does it, and right now your power meter's right there anyway. See it right there at that swing. Now, if it does a little thrust, a little pullback, and makes power over here, we'll get a green a little bit closer. See if we can get something here. Still got our short. I don't like them to take out lightning, and I'll tell you the reason that I don't is because if you're trading lightning and they start getting higher highs and higher lows, why do you want to be short? You see what I mean? I just went green. I'm going to kill this one. Okay, let's look and see if we can get in again. Okay, we haven't even had a mid-band trade just yet. So let's draw on our chart. We've got resistance right there. We've got a mid-band right here. We'll go 3. This was right near the open. Remember this one? Pretty sure we took this trade this morning, didn't we? And I'm going to draw another line at 92 because we already talked about that being an area that it broke down at. That's close enough for me at mid-band right there. Now that's a gutsy trade. Okay, that's a little gutsier. And we also talked about, especially at the open, remember this little box right here? If it happened to break this little swing right here, that we could actually go long, I'm going to put it just a little bit above here so that we have to break mid-band. Okay, we're still okay, we're short. Everybody see it? And if I remember right, we drew a target right down here on crude this morning. because that's on top of our lightning swing. Okay. Let's see what we get here. Let's see, Gary, counter trend on a scalp, do you ever bring your stop up to break even as you're getting close to your target? Yes. But keep in mind that, you know, if you want to try to get some very decent moves on those, you know, lag it back just a little bit, especially if you've already gotten some profit on, you know, your trade. Well, we just flipped. This is what I did this morning, by the way, on my trade this morning. And where did we say it would go to? This morning in the room, we said it would go to 92. I want to show you something else you can do with this. And this would be more in hindsight, but I'm pretty sure this did this morning. I don't know for sure. But you can set your target to be a flip. Does everybody know that? Did you know you can do that? I'll show you how to do it. Let's see, that's my target 2 because we only use 2. So I'd have to go to reverse target at 2. And that's at resistance. And we're feeling a little bit of heat on our long, aren't we? Now, where's our lightning stop on here? Well, it would be under here, wouldn't it? Like that right there. Now that it's wicked. It may get us. That's all right if it does. So far, lightning's to the upside right after the open. And this is what they love to do at the open. See, they got you long out of the box. And anytime you take a breakout trade, you got to trust lightning. If lightning does break to the downside, then obviously this trade is off the table. Okay. Now, I would personally go back in this thing if this meter went green, especially at the open, simply because, see, it broke the box. Okay. And you're expecting it to go up to 92. We called that live in the room this morning. Okay. Watch how this little deal works if this goes up here to this target. I've got it set for reverse at target 2. I'd put my stop in this case. Let's see if we can get a little lightning swing first. I'd at least bring it to here. If that'll close above this swing, we'll bring it all the way under there. Everybody see that? Did it get to 92? Doesn't look like it. We can also set this like this. That would be a lightning break to the downside. If this happens to break, remember in the room this morning, drawing on your charts, we did this. See if we get our flip. Resistance is at 92. Does everybody see if you draw on your charts, you're more than likely going to get some really, really good trades? Should hit its head right here. Didn't even come down to it yet. Watch old object trader. Should, if I've got that set, should flip that. Didn't quite get to 92, did it? It might still. It hadn't tagged it yet. It missed it by 2 ticks. I usually like to only miss it by about 1 tick. A lot of times that works quite well. Sometimes they'll do it 2 ticks though. But we've got our chart set just in case, right? We're long out of the Band-Aid just like we teach. We know it's got resistance at 92. Our lightning 3 swing is way up here at 09. Everybody see that? It just tagged off of support. There we go, we just flipped. That's a pretty good little feature, by the way. Now, if you were trading this in real time, what does everybody see on this chart? Let's go ahead and take lightning off. I want everybody to see it in real time. Hopefully we can do it. That's good enough over here. We don't care about that. Let's look at it. All right. Drawing lightning. Okay, we've got a swing right under here, which they've already tagged. Well, we just got our target. We didn't get to move them. It's too quick. Okay. Now, if you walked in the room and you saw this a little bit more sideways like this, what does everybody do? Well, to me, if you short it here, that's too close to here. You know, if you were to do this like this, boxing it in, I'd probably wait for the power meter to either break 57 or to break to the upside on a lightning swing. See if we can get that. We'll get one of them. Now, by the way, if you want just like 7 ticks, you could probably do this little trade, but you'd have to sell it at the line. Everybody see it? See, it just busted the line, came back and kissed it. And I'm trying to get down to the bottom, 7 ticks. Always faded a little bit. And now we're in a range. Now you do have your medium swing saying if it breaks 92, it's going to head up. If you're in a range like this, what does everybody think? If you have a thrust, retrace thrust, if you were to take a breakout above here, that would be a break above what we call our micro trend. Everybody see that so far? Now we don't know if it's going to go ahead and come down a little bit more, and this will be our new swing, like here. That's how I like to box them in, is on lightning. So far it's here. We mentioned this morning that this had a higher low. Does anybody remember that? It is breaking lightning, by the way, to the upside. And it's breaking a little bit too much now. Let's see if it'll pull back, at least back to my line, 70. I'll turn this on just in case it blows up through it, but I'd like for it to touch 70 first. See, drawing on my chart. Closes above here though. Already changed green. I'll buy that right there. That's at support. Now keep in mind that this is when it's sideways like this. Okay, we got a higher low just then. We're stair stepping up a little bit. I'd put my stop just under lightning, like right underneath there. Close of the bar, no reverse. And since we only got one set of contracts, we got to just move our target out of the way. Stop would be just right, still under here because lightning's right here, until it takes out this high over here. Higher low so far than here, but it hadn't taken out the swing over here to identify this swing. This swing's the identified one. You can simply draw lightning 1 and you'll see that. There you go. Like that. Get your target out of the way. Wow, we got 6 on? I didn't realize we had 6. Must have turned our bar close on. We'll go ahead and get rid of 3 of them just in case if we get a, well, we'll watch for a down bar and then watch for the second one. See if we get a down bar. No down bar yet. Bring your stop just under. When you get a thrust like this, you pretty much have to trust like Charles and I talk about, just under midband. Exit on close. If that bar closes down, since that's at resistance right there, I will go ahead and protect it. That's good enough right there. I'm going to turn that on to take 3 off. Because where does everybody expect this to pull back to? Drawing on your charts. Let's look to the left and see if we can tell. I'm going to go ahead and kill this, and I want everybody to tell me where the next trade is. Let's see if we can figure it out. Got plenty of time to look at it for right now anyway. Let's see. Got a swing right over here and here. Got a swing right across this area right here at mid-band. Let's look to the left, see if there's anything else. Nope. Okay, so we're looking for a pullback. Where into, everyone? Mid-band, right? That somehow shorted that. That's okay. Oh, I bet I know what that was. That was that bar close with exit on close. We got to get that fixed. Anybody remember this little trade that we talked about in the room this morning, and also a very, very good way to take it? Anybody? It came really close to mid-band. That's where I called it this morning, remember? Where it came to stealth. But it gives you opportunities. Watch and see if it doesn't do it. And what's the safest way to get in a trade, everyone? Wait for that power meter to change. Let's see if we can get a trade. We got support, thrust, retrace, thrust, big time. Retrace, hadn't taken out the highs yet, so this could be an ABC. Okay, we'll look at mid-band. We'll look at right down here. This is where I would be looking at to take that trade. Anywhere between those two areas or bounce. Let's see if we can get it. See if we can get it. Now, by the way, that's a phantom. Everybody see that right there? It just hit phantom. If that bar tries to close down, I'm going to short it. That's a phantom trade. Everybody see it? Now, a safer way would be to wait for the meter, but keep in mind the meter's not going to change till it takes this out. And we're looking for a bounce down in here. At mid-band. See if we can get it. Well, Mindy, on your question, now keep in mind that what is this trend now? We called this live in the room this morning. Remember this? Okay, first off, you've got to have your high, your low, your lower high, your lower low, right? That's actually a downtrend until it takes this out on this side of the chart. Now, what is it on this side of the chart, though? You have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, okay? So when it does that, we're pretty much expecting this trend to change, okay? Now, the safest way to take that, obviously, is to wait for the meter to change to green. Let's just do that and see if we can get a trade. It's already fired it because I did a reverse, but let's see if we can get, and I don't expect it to go any lower than right there. We'll just simply take it if the meter turns green. See the meter? Now, when that meter turned green, what did it actually have to do? Well, you had a thrust down, a little retrace, and see how that made a little zigzag with a lower high, lower low right here? When that closed above that swing right there on that bar, right there where my cursor's at, is when that meter changed to green. Okay? Now, so far, all you've got is the looks of a trend change. But Charles has taught this for years, and that is the fact that when you get that 1, 2, 3, and you come above mid-band, you oscillate around it, keep in mind it took out this medium swing. You had a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high when it took this out, and then you're looking for this retrace into like mid-band. And we called that trade in the room this morning too. Now, where would our stop be on this particular trade right now? Anybody? Lightning, right? Now, obviously, it wouldn't be way down here. We'd go ahead and bring this up under here. As soon as it closes above here, we'll bring it under here. Not yet. Now, sometimes you can go ahead and look at this and say, you know what, I'll go like 61% down. I might be able to go at least just under break even. You see what I mean? Because if this thrusts up and rolls over and then is still an uptrend, it should hold about a 61% retracement. You can kind of eye that. But to stay in these trades very, very well, you use LineKing. See where it's closing above the swing? Tried to, wicked it so far. Closed above. So your stop could be right underneath there. And of course, I'd probably take, obviously, some out if we get a bar close. We drew a resistance line. We got resistance at 09. Everybody see that? Now that's where I'd probably take some off, but we already did with the bar close. Okay, now what's the overall trend on this thing right now? Well, on this side, on the left side, it's still down, right? To actually change trends on this side, it takes taking out 09 and possibly even 15 because you've got a swing here. Thrust, retrace, barely thrust, retrace. That's your secondary swing, okay? So to me, for this to change to the up direction, this would actually have to take this out, okay? And we're still long so far. Now, what if you missed this trade? Does anybody see the next trade on this chart? Just by what we're talking about this whole last hour. I'm going to draw it for you because I already see it. You got to be able to look at your charts and see where the next trade is. All right, let's look here. They already checked mid-band, so look to the left to trade the right. They've got a swing here. We're going to see if they've tested it. They tested it, right? Everybody see that? Got a swing right here that they have not tested yet. Everybody see that too? And we've also got a neat little deal that'll show up on your charts too, called the predictor. Okay, but let's see if we can get a little bit of a trade on this. Let's just say that you weren't even in this, and I'm going to take a chance and see if our little line drawing tonight paid off. Got a high, a low, a higher high. There's a swing right under here that should not be able to be taken out. Draw your lightning 2. You should see it. Come on, draw for me. Ah, you silly thing. Okay, there's your swing. High, low, higher, high. Should not take this out. There's your predictor, right? Little predictor right there. And let's see if it even gets down to it. If it doesn't, that's fine. We'll get another one after that. You would still be long, obviously, on this trade, right? Everybody sees that? But let's see if we can get in this trade again. We're not chasers. We're retracers. So I've got a swing at 92. I got a swing at 90. That should hold. I barely took out the high over here, but this will change the power meter if it takes out this little swing. But we haven't even had a mid-band trade yet. So we're going to take one more trade, and then we're going to wrap. And I think we only lost a little bit on that one, didn't we? The one that came against us. Watch for a predictor, because it'll happen in real time. Is that why power meter 4 is red? Well, power meter 4 is off a 12 range chart, Mindy, on your question. So yes, that would be the reason it's red. I'll draw it for you and show you. Keep in mind, you're not really trading the 12 range chart as much. We use that more as an indicator. But let's see if we can get a little trade here. And I'm going to draw where our target is before we even take the trade. we expect it to bounce either here or here. Okay? Our first target will be here. Everybody see that? Right there at resistance, right? That's where your target would be. 52.98. There's your little predictor right there. May have just missed the trade, but since I missed it, I'm going to wait for it to come on down. It didn't quite come down to my line. I don't trust it yet. 92 is where my support is. I'll speed it up just a little bit. $92. That's a gutsy trade, but that's 92. Is that a pretty good little trade right there? Let's see if we can just simply get our target of 53. Everybody see 53 over here to the right, to the left? Little swing right there. Now, where's our lightning swing that makes a difference in whether this thing decides to go up or down? Anybody? Well, it's actually at 52.80 right this very moment. Anyway. Let's fast forward this just a little bit and see if anybody else can catch one more trade. I'm going to go ahead and tighten my stop just in case we're wrong on this one, because this swing should hold. Okay, looking to the left to trade the right, you got a high, a low, a lower high, a much lower low. So what you call your 12 range, which is your power meter 4, is way up here. But you did change it, so you know the power meter 4 is still red. Now let me ask a question. Just looking at this particular chart, looking at the left to trade the right, what would it take to change the trend on this to maybe take a short? If it happens, now we got our target. Everybody see that? Lightning, high, low, higher low, barely higher high. I wouldn't trust that one as much because that's just a retrace. But if it breaks that one, a true lightning swing, could it head down? Anybody? And it could, couldn't it? Now we don't know if it's going to, but it could if it does. So naturally you draw on your charts. Always draw on your charts where these support and resistance levels are, just like we do in the room, and it'll give you some monster nice trades. Let's fast forward this and see if we can take something. Did that break? Anybody? That broke our lightning swing, didn't it? To the left here. So what do y'all think about kisses resistance? Now somebody says, well, wait a minute, this is still an uptrend. Well, actually it's not when it takes out this lightning swing over here to the left, is it? And it's really not. Now it did bounce. You could have gotten a quick little long. We're going to look at resistance right here. If it rolls right here with this red stealth, I would probably short it because that's resistance right there. And then if they fake you, I would literally get out of that trade in a heartbeat, just right above that swing, like that. Okay? Now, if you look at this chart, you do have another trade setup that has not happened on this chart yet. And what is that trade? It's a phantom trade. Yellow bars at midband. Yellow bars at midband work, but you got a lower high. See your high, your low, your lower high rolled over. So we got us a little trade. We'll go ahead and move that out of the way just for a minute, and I'm going to tighten my stop. You want to take the phantom trade? Okay. Don't take it blindly though, because see, that's already a phantom trade. If I was going to do that, I'd probably do one, okay, because it's come down to phantom, and then I'd probably just do it for a runner. But the safest way to take this, if this is going to be a true phantom, is to watch that power meter. Let's see if we can get it that way. Otherwise, it's cratering, so you got a nice short already. But this won't change to a red background or even a red midband until it gets lower than this because, well, our algorithms, I just know where they're going to change. Watch your meter and see if we can get in. That's a phantom trade so far. And then we're going to wrap this about 5 minutes late. And I'm going to do like 3. We'll do all the targets. There's where your lightning will change, by the way. A little deeper than we wanted, but what are you going to have to do otherwise? Well, it's going to have to break, come back here and kiss, and roll over, okay? Now that's changing to red, but we still got a medium midband, a higher low. That's also looks like a trend line to me. Let's see if it is. Close to it, I'll bet you. Yep. Only if we get a green meter. Left side's down. We're looking for it to bounce off a phantom, box it in. Your little lightning swing is right across here. If it takes out 80, technically that should head up. But as soon as this turns green, you'd have to put your stop under here. Now, yes, you could have already taken this because it bounced off a predictor. But I'm going to show you just a little safer way to trade it. That should give us a lightning swing if it takes that line out now. See the little thrust, little pullback? That should do it. Meter went green. Lightning swing is right under here. Everybody sees the lightning swing, right? It's right there where that swing is. And there you go. You just got you another trade. Now keep in mind that this was also a very good short because it broke our support over here, pulled down below it, came back, kissed it, and rolled over. So we took a short. We weren't real sure, obviously, if it was going to continue down until it takes out literally this trend line under here too, right? And you would simply bring your stop, get your targets out of the way until you can assess where they should go. I would think I've already hit that resistance there. Some right over here to the left. I'll go ahead and put one of the targets right there, just because predictor's saying it also. Now, let me ask you a quick question. If you missed this trade entirely, and this will be one final setup. Anybody? Well, I'll tell you what, those phantom trades are worth their weight in gold. I know some people don't take those. I like them. Now, if it closes down below that lightning swing, we'll be out of it. See the lightning swing? Power meters are still red. I mean green, pardon me. Now, if you were looking at this trade rather than boxing it in, does anybody see a pretty good area to look for? I'm going to show you something here real quick. Matter of fact, that made a swing right there. See how it came down a little bit? Okay, this thrust up. Would 88 be a good area to probably pop right back in this thing? Anybody? Like that? See it pop up above it and pull back into it? Absolutely. Rather than taking the little break of the box instead, that little trade like that can work out pretty well. What if you missed this one though? One more quick, and I'm going to close this out. And everybody tell me where you could probably get in this trade. So far you've got a low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So it takes this to take it down. It takes this to take it up. So let's see if we can get something. What do you think? Right there about 92, what do you think? It broke up above it. The bar went up. This bar needs to touch that 92. And you've even got a little swing right here too. See it? 91 and 92. Stop would be under here, wouldn't it? If you happen to take that trade. And we haven't gotten a predictor just yet. See if we get a predictor. That would pretty much be a buy for me. See it? It's right there at that 92. I would probably have already taken that little dude, but let's just wait, I guess, since we missed it. See if we can get it again. They'll usually do it twice. Come on, oil, one more trade. You haven't even touched my line yet. May not give it to us. I think we missed the opportunity right here. Maybe not if that bar will close down. Missed it again, actually. Let's see. We might still get it. It hasn't come down there yet, but it's running away from us now. Always wait for a retracement, though. Here, well, there we go, there we go, there we go. Right there. See it? That was also a predictor, too. Look at that. Where was your swing that it shouldn't take out? Right there. So your stop could be right underneath there. And ride your runner. Everybody see that? Enough for lessons for today. How about let's all draw on our charts tomorrow. And when we draw on these charts and you see where these areas are that you should be able to get in, draw on those charts and it'll tell you right where they need to go. And by the way, this hadn't even changed to green just yet. There it just did just then. Keep in mind the reason it did that's because it thrust up. You got to have zigzag with lightning. That's why sometimes you got to buy it at support, because if they don't give a zigzag of some kind, that won't change. Okay? All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and it'll be posted here in just a little bit. Bye, everyone. Thanks.